Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And for this video, guys, we're going to be drawing another legendary Pokemon, Giratina origin form. So as you guys can see on screen, this is how he ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw him, then let's get started. I'm also going to put up a reference right now on screen, that way it's easier for you guys to draw, and at the same time you guys can get all your details. Alright guys, so just keep in mind to do your line slides, since we are going to be starting off with the sketch, and then from there on you guys are going to do your final drawing. Alright, so first of all, hopefully you guys can see, we're gonna start out by doing this simple shape right here. Well, not simple because it's an awkward shape, but the trick for doing this shape is basically the top. I show you guys right now. If you guys notice, the top of it is almost straight in a way. It's a little bit curved, but it's like it's the most straight line on the shape right here. So just try to do it as close as you can to this. That way it's easier for you guys to follow the tutorial. And he's not the easiest Pokemon to draw, guys, so if you guys have trouble drawing him, then it's alright. As long as you guys get the simple shapes at the beginning, then the rest should hopefully make it a little bit easier for you to draw. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to start off right here on this side by doing his tail. So it starts off really thin. Probably should have done it thinner than I did it here, but it's alright. And then we're just going to curve it to around here. So just look at the gap that the shape makes, like where the tail is to the line that we just did. It's a small gap. So just try to do this as close as you can. Basically that's gonna be the bottom body. Alright, so now halfway in between that line and the other one, we're gonna do this line from the bottom, and it's gonna go over a little bit and then start curving, and it goes a little bit further than the first shape that we did. There we go. Now we're just gonna connect it around here. So we're just gonna use the same shape for the body, and then we're gonna basically do the shape of the head around here. It's kind of like a worm shape, guys. So just try to make it all smooth, you know, make it all work with each other. If you guys notice right here on this side, on the back, it doesn't add up well with the body right there, so I just changed it right now. So as long as you guys can make any changes to your drawing, as long as it looks good, then by all means make any changes. It doesn't have to be the same as my drawing or the reference, you know, as long as it looks good on your drawing, you guys can make any changes. Alright guys, so now that line that we did before, the one that curves, if you guys notice, it goes outside of this shape a little bit, and then we're just going to continue this line straight up, and it makes this triangle shape right there. I don't know if you guys see it, but it goes a little bit higher, and then we're going to do this oval shape around here. Basically that's going to be the middle shape, oval shape that he has like riding on his forehead. Alright, so now we're gonna do this line right here and just curve it a little bit, have a curve to it. It's a little bit higher than the circle that we did at the beginning, or the oval shape. Now for this one doesn't go higher than the actual head, so that's one of those reference that you guys can check. Alright, so now for his top crown, or whatever you want to call it, it's around here. It goes a little bit higher than the head if you guys look at the reference. Now we're gonna start off the bottom, it connects around the middle, and then around here it just starts getting wider, and then it just goes straight up. This shape might take you guys a couple tries to do. It's just one of those awkward shapes. It's almost like a banana shape, guys. So now we can just connect this line to that one around here. So you guys don't have to connect it exactly on the same spot. It all depends where you guys did the shape that we did, the banana shape. So just try to make it, just connect that line to wherever it looks good. Alright, so now for this side on top, just do a straight line, and then I'm gonna do it around here. It goes about halfway of the oval shape that we did in the middle on the forehead, and then just connect it over there. And basically this is gonna give us his shield that he has on his face. Alright, so now on this side we could just basically make this line curve right here. Basically is gonna give us the shape of his torso, the top of his torso. So now that we have that, guys, we're gonna do a few lines for his spikes that he has coming out of his body. So there's one, and here's another one. So this is probably the hardest part, doing these shapes right here, because it's kind of hard to place them right now, but just try your best. So on this side it basically comes out the same as the other side, so we could just do a straight line going across, and it just makes it a little bit easier. And then it has another one over here. If you guys look at the reference, those are the spikes. There we go, another one here. We could always change these later on, but it just helps having them right now. Alright, so now for around the face, we're gonna do this eye. Starts around here and it just curves down and connects to the bottom of the oval shape. Alright, so now for his three claws that he has sticking out of his neck. So we're gonna connect around there. Go a little bit inside of his body around here and just curve it. And if you guys notice, it goes about that much beyond that line that we did going down the middle. So now for the other one's around this, the distance from the top one. So now the same thing, curve it. This one's gonna be a little bit going into like the middle almost of the other one. Now for the last one, starts around here. And this one goes a lot further in, and then once it almost touches the other line, this line, we're just gonna curve it like that. Now for the same thing on the other side, I believe we're gonna start by doing one of the spikes, but for this one we're actually gonna do the actual shape. And if these don't turn out well right now, we could always change them. It's just one of those things we could always change. And then I don't finish that one. Well, I guess I do. No, I don't. Just because I'm doing the top one first. And there, that's the third one. So just look at the reference, guys, and try your best to do it. If you guys notice, I don't do mine exactly like the reference. Like I said before, I'm doing mine the way I think it's gonna work out on my drawing. You guys could look at the reference. I made it a little bit bigger, that way it's a little bit easier to see everything, since he's pretty busy. He has a lot of lines going everywhere, so hopefully that helps. Now for his eye, and he has a smaller one in the inside. There we go. Then he does have these two lines that are coming out of the eye. This one right there that meets almost the middle, and then the other one that goes all the way across. Alright, so now for the other thing on top, just try to make it almost at the same level or where it looks good. Just curve it. And then the same thing on that side, and then just connect it. I recommend just looking at the reference and before you guys do it, that way you guys basically know what we're doing, and then just makes it a little bit easier to do. Alright, so now to finish off these claws, basically gonna do like a triangle shape right here, and then it just curves up around there. Same thing on this side. Just doing these triangles might be a little bit easier for you guys to see what's going on, or to do them. Again, it doesn't have to be the same as I'm doing it here. As long as it looks good on your drawing, you guys could do these any like any angle, any shape, as long as it looks okay, then by all means make any changes to yours. Just one of those things that I just want to mention was that basically all these 3 claws are almost the same size. They're pretty similar in size. Obviously the one on top is gonna be the biggest, but just try to keep them all the same. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly one bigger than the other one. As long as they're all basically the same shape, it's alright. Although the bottom one is a little bit smaller, so if you guys could add that, it just gives it a little bit more detail to the drawing, and it just makes it a little bit more better, but that's up to you guys. Alright, so I did erase some of those lines, that way it's not that confusing. And now to do one of these spikes, so right there I ended up making it too long. The reason I noticed that is the space between this and that, the top claw, as I pointed out right there, there's supposed to be a small gap in between. So now that we have that, we can basically connect it to the top around here and make ourselves this cone shape, or this spike, whatever you guys want to call it. And there's one. Alright, so now for the other one, the same thing. This one's a little bit smaller, and this is one of those things that doesn't add up on my drawing, like the reference, just the placement of all these. Like for example, in between those orange lines that he has going across his body, around here in this area, it's really hard to tell. It's not placed in the same spot that the reference is, so it just makes it a little bit harder. So I just want to warn you guys that might happen to you guys also. Now for this one, and this one doesn't have the top one just because, or actually it does, I just didn't do it. And then the other one on this side, which is obviously a little bit smaller since it's further away. Now for this one, obviously the smallest ones, I should have done these a little bit more smaller and thinner. It would have probably looked a little bit better, so that's something that you guys might want to do. Once again, this one too, this is probably the smallest one. It is the smallest. Alright guys, so now that we have that, erase some of these reference lines, that way it's not that confusing, because he has so many lines that just erasing some of those unnecessary lines just might make it a little bit easier to understand. Alright, so now we're gonna finish off this part of the body, which is almost like a triangle shape, and then it just curves, and it should basically connect to the back of his neck right here. So you guys could do a reference line going up just to make sure that it connects, as you guys see me doing here, or just guess, you know, but just try to make it work. Alright, so now for these lines, which is probably the most confusing part of Giratina, or just making it work overall, we're gonna start doing them. So this one is gonna be the gray part, and it has like a little thing of insert of like a triangle shape. I'm doing this side also. So it's really confusing. You guys see me here like trying, you know, because I'm looking at the reference as well, guys. I have it on my tablet, and it's really confusing trying to make it all work with each other just because it's so small. Probably I should have done the drawing a little bit bigger. It would have turned out a little bit better. So now this one as well. So I noticed that the black and the red lines are basically where the spikes are coming out. So as long as you guys understand that and see that, then you guys can basically do this part on your own, and just do like a little insert of a triangle shape on the gray parts in between those. So this is probably the most confusing part for you guys seeing right now, just because there's just so many lines. So what I do is just color in what's supposed to be the black parts, but it's just really confusing, guys. I just recommend you guys looking at the reference on this area. I'm sorry, I just hit the mic. Looking at the reference on this area and just working it out on your own, because just following me right here is just really confusing. And it's just small stuff, you know, as long as it works out in yours, then it's alright. It's not something that has to be done perfectly. Alright, so he does have this other spike on this side around here. Just try to get the angle right. It's basically the biggest one on the other side. As long as it works well, then it's alright. So then it does have this other line right there that I forget to do on the other spikes, where basically the gray and the yellow like split up with another triangle insert on the gray part. Alright, so now we're gonna do this other side of the eye. There's barely space enough to do it. It all depends where you guys place the oval shape at the beginning on his forehead. But if you guys don't have that part, then it's alright. Alright, so now that we have that, we're gonna start by doing those red stripes going down his torso, or the front of his body. And just try to make them all match, guys. Like, for example, start off with the black one and then the red one, and then I just color in the black parts. That way it makes it a little bit easier and not that confusing, not only for you guys but for myself as well. It just makes it's a little bit easier on the eyes. Another one here, and then for once it matched up at the bottom right here as it did on the reference. For my last Giratina drawing, it didn't match up. So then it just goes up here. This is the black part, and then the black part at the bottom, I just color that in, color this part in. It's just the red ring that goes over. And then I erase the inside of some of these spikes. Like for my Giratina overworld form, I think it's called, or the other form, guys. So Giratina, where he has his legs and his wings, those stripes on his like stomach, they didn't line up well. And once I did my best to work them out, and then once I was coloring him, I ended up coloring the wrong color, the wrong like stripe, and overall it's just like, really, like after all that work of trying to make it match, I end up coloring in the wrong one, and I just had to go with it. I couldn't like change it or anything. Alright, so now that we have that, guys, we can start by doing his tentacles, or whatever you guys want to call them. And the easiest thing to do is just doing the spikes first, the points. So just try to, it doesn't really matter the angles, also just try to keep it as close as you can to the reference, like basically how big it is and where it is. That's another one right here. And then now that we have that, we can basically start these off. So this one, we're gonna start it off at the top, and then we're gonna go to where it connects to the body and just connect those. So this one starts around here, and this doesn't have to be exactly like the reference, guys. You guys could just get a rough estimate of the shape and then just connect them. The same thing on this side, so just roughly follow the other line and then just get some of those straight lines, because there's like a lot of straight lines in these. And then just also try to get the angles a little bit, you know, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then just connect it. Now for the other one, so right here I'm just making it a little bit darker because it was a little bit light. Alright, so the other one starts around here, and once again just look at the reference and look at where it basically goes and where it touches, and then just try to make it work with your claws that you guys did earlier. So this one's a little bit smaller than the other one, so that's one of those things that you guys might want to pay attention to. There we go, that's the other one. So this one goes behind the first one that we did. Alright, so now for this third one. And this third one, you can barely see it coming out on top of his head right there, so we're just gonna do a line. Alright, so now that we have that, guys, we're gonna do the other side. I noticed that I didn't do the red stripes and the black parts on this one, so I just do them really quick. But like I said before, guys, it's so small that it's really hard to look at those small details. Once I do my final drawing, I can make it a little bit better and work on it, you know. But for now, it's still a sketch. We're just trying to get it overall. So now for this other spike, this one is probably as big as the first one that we did earlier. And one of those things that you guys should do is basically try to make them all the same shape, although I don't really do that, but just try your best. Alright, so this middle one, it comes out around there, it goes behind the tail, it covers a little bit of the tail, and then it just connects to this one. So this one's really thin. It's, once again, is like the middle size one. and it just connects to around here. I kind of did this part a little bit too big, so I just cut a little bit off it. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so now for this, the third one, which I make a mistake on, guys. I actually make it go under his tail, and it should be going over his tail. So it meets up around there. So this is where I made a mistake. I didn't notice that till I ended up finishing my drawing. So I end up going under, but just go across the body, guys. Instead of going under, just do the line across. If you guys look at the reference, it goes over the tail. I make mine under, which is kind of weird when you look at it that way. Alright, so now for the last one, which is going to be the biggest one. I don't like the shape of it. And the easiest way to do these is just basically doing a triangle shape and then just curving the bottom. So this one's going to be the biggest one out of all these tentacles. Right here I'm just trying to get it like the same shape as the reference, although it's not on the same area. So long as it looks similar, then it's alright. You know, it's just one of those things that doesn't have to be perfect once again. And we're pretty much done, guys. Right now it's just about going over your drawing and make any changes to your sketch. Right here, erase, for example, that line from his like blade that he has going across his face. It doesn't have it, and just erasing it makes it a little bit easier. So just look at the reference and look at your sketch, and then just try to make any like changes to your drawing to make it look a little bit better. If there's something, just look at your sketch, for example, right now. So right now we're just adding this like small detail that he has right there on the blade. So like I said, just look at your sketch and just overall look at it. You know, don't look at the reference, don't look at mine, just look at it and just point out your mistakes or point out stuff that you guys could change. And once you have that, then just go ahead and change it. Just look at the reference to get an idea of how it's supposed to look, and then just do it on your own. And then I did end up coloring it, as you guys see me doing it here. I used my Copic markers. I ended up outlining it in Sharpie, or not Sharpie, like a marker. And then for these spikes and the red stripes that he has in his stomach, I didn't have the right color, so I tried my best, guys, you know, because on the reference it's kind of glowing. But I think it came out okay overall. So overall I'm happy with it, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. End up doing the art on the other side. So yeah, so I did go over the one thing. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. And if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe for more videos, guys, and I guess I'll just catch you guys on the next video. Team Rocket Draws,